Have you ever canoed down a babbling brook?
No, but I have cried at a Taco Bell.
Oh, same thing. Listen up, campers.
It's time to buckle up, pitch a tent, and take a hike.
Because Camp Counselors is a variety show.
So prepare for a good old-fashioned kumbaya,
Weird news,
hot gossip,
and scary stories around the campfire.
so spooky.
Is this podcast even about camping?
No, but it is camp. This is Camp Counselors.
Hey, happy campers!
Welcome back to Camp Shady Birch.
It is week 107 here at camp.
My local radio station growing up was Fun 107, so...
We love Fun 107. They love to show up to any grand opening, whether that is, the local zoo welcoming a new hippo or a Five Below opening. They just show up.
They do, and anytime I do something, they're like, hey, Zachariah's back in Anyways, we had quite an adventurous weekend. I'm actually still recovering from it as we speak. I'm feeling a little brain foggy. I'm feeling creepy. I'm feeling spunky. I'm feeling spooky. And I think for you guys to understand why I'm this way, we have to go back.
All the way back.
We do. So it was June. The month was June. Because I was performing at City Winery in New York. It was my second show, and I was like 15 minutes out from going on stage. At this point, I've had 9 strands of diarrhea. I'm sweating. I'm vomiting. I'm just so nervous. And my sister calls me. And I'm like, why is she calling me right now? It was like so random out of the blue. And I answer, and I was like, hey, I'm about to go on stage. What's good? And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I forgot. Like, we'll talk later. I'm like, no, like, distract my mind for a little blip, please. Like, what's on your mind? She's like, so I was on Ticketmaster and I saw that the script, the UK's, oh no, it's actually Ireland's favorite singer-songwriter group is coming to Boston in October. Would you and John want to go with me and my husband? And like the thing about me is if it's far enough in advance, I will always say yes. So in June, making plans for October seems fine. Right?
Right. And also you were just like, okay, I have a million things on my mind. Yeah, sure. We'll go. Like, why not?
No, exactly. Like I was about to go on stage. So I'm like, yeah, just book the tickets. Like, that's fine. We'll figure it out when it gets closer. Well, it got closer. And that was this weekend. Guys, are you like campers? Do we love the script? Do we know who the script is? I know the script. I don't know enough of the script to go see them live, but here we are.
The rest is still unwritten. And I know like one song.
You don't know any songs. Let's be honest, Jonathan. You know the chorus of one song, and that's about it.
The chorus and part of the hook. And that's about it for a break even.
Because when a heart breaks, no, it don't break even. No. Because what am I supposed to do when the best part of me was always you? But campers, you know me, and you know I love specifically the years 2006 in 2009 in like the universe of music. They were really popular in 2009. If you didn't know Break Even, you probably knew The Man Who Can't Be Moved or that song with Will.i.am, Standing in the Hall of Fame.
Turns out I didn't know any of them.
Well, the category of music that the script is grocery store music. It is Kohl's Cash.
It's Kohl's Cash for sure.
Yeah, like you're making an exchange and Hall of Fame is playing. So it's like, oh, I'm not a huge fan of the script, but when I went on Spotify to kind of warm up before this weekend, all of their songs are hovering around the 1 billion mark. 1 billion streams.
Thanks to Fun 107, probably.
Literally. So it's like, I'm not a huge fan, but like, who am I? Who am I to say anything when you have a song over 1 billion streams?
Yeah, so we figured we would go. Why not?
Yeah, well, we had to go. I can't.
You're right. It was our duty. It was our Honda Civic duty.
Yeah, and it kind of was good. A little personal information about my family. My mom was in the hospital last week. Very stressful. She's okay now. So I was like, hey, like I was going to go to Boston anyways to see my sister. It all kind of makes sense because now I can shoot down and see my mom after, make sure she's recovering okay. And she is, campers. So we go down to Boston, a 4.5-hour drive. Somewhere around hour 3, I was like, should we throw the script on to get a warm up here? And yeah, the script was interesting. It was at the House of Blues. They sold it out.
They did. And I had never been to a House of Blues before. I'd only ever seen it in the movies, in the cinema.
Yeah, and Freaky Friday.
I
thought there was more. I've been to House of Blues a few times.
I thought there was more too, but apparently, according to their website, I think there's only 11. I think.
Well, who cares? You know what's interesting about live music? First of all, you know I hate it. Second of all, I always kind of feel bad for the opener. Even watching clips of the Eras tour and people not even like listening to Paramore, literally Paramore opening for Taylor Swift, and people are chit-chatting. Like, if she can't get respect as an opener, can anybody get respect as an opener?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, the chit chatter of it all it is disrespectful.
And let me tell you, if I know 4 songs of the script and Jonathan knows 1 chorus of a script song, do you think either of us knew who the opener was?
No, I still don't know what their name was. It was
Mayflower.
Mayflower?
No, it was like Fairweather.
Fairweather friends from the Mayflower.
He was Irish as well. He was talented. A lot of storytelling, but it was just funny because Ray, my sister's husband, he likes the script. They both like the script a lot. My sister, I'll tell you right now, she knew every song. In the middle of it, she's like, I thought you knew more of this. And I was like, no, I don't, but I'm vibing. Like, the thing, I'll vibe. If I'm holding a Bud Light, I'm vibing. And that's one thing about me. But it was so funny because the day before, Ray is texting our group chat and he's like, okay, well, doors are at 6:30 and we were doing standing room only in the mezzanine. So he's like, I read on Reddit that if you wanted like get a good spot for House of Blues in Boston, you got to be there when doors open for the mezzanine. And I had to answer Ray and say, Ray, I love you. I'm coming down to hang out with you guys. The script is secondary to me. I need a good dinner and a good drink before we go to this. I cannot get to the venue an hour and a half before for barricade for the script. And I won't, and I can't. So we did show up at 7:30 during the opener. I am only 5'8". I am a short king. And actually being in Boston, I realized really quickly that I understand why they call it Short King City. Because I do feel tall in Boston.
Who calls it Short King City?
Oh my God. You have to ask the girls.
Girls?
No, because girls know that Boston is known for short kings.
Okay, I didn't know that.
A lot of shorties in Boston. So we got there and people were standing in front of me. And initially, like, I'm just so aggressive. I'm like, I can't say. And I'm like, first of all, how dare I be able to say? Because I only know 4 songs. Do I even deserve a right to say? Like, I think people who are showing up to this were really excited. So you know what? Then I calmed down. I said, just drink your Bud Light and shut the fuck up, Zachariah. You don't need to be barricade. You already said you didn't want to be barricade. So I took a bite of humble pie and I swayed against the back. I do appreciate that as popular as their streams are, I think they're known for a very select group of songs. So they did something really, I think, courteous of the audience. They would play music from their new album. And they would do like 1 or 2. They would do like 2 or 3 songs. And then they'd hit you with a real big one that everybody knew. Because I kind of hate when like artists don't acknowledge their past. It's like, yeah, everyone wants to promote their new stuff, but you got to give it. Like, you got to be polite. Yeah. You got to play break even. They opened with The Man Who Can't Be Moved.
Which I didn't know.
Where were you? Not at Kohl's.
I don't know. I couldn't be moved.
Yeah, I was really into this show on VH1 in the late 2000s, early aughts. I hate saying that. That was like they would do a ranking of the top 40 music videos on the weekends, and it was a 2-hour show. And from 10 to noon every Saturday, between the ages of 9 to 12, that's where I was. And that's why I knew that chick song so well of I'm not ready to make nice. Because during that time, they were number 1 for 13 weeks. And I went to my parents. I said, guys, this is monumental. And they didn't like it. They didn't care. I didn't know because they didn't like the chicks because they were like drinking the juice for George Bush.
Yeah. No,
and I'm over here, little gay boy, being like supporting the chicks. My parents are like, no, we don't like the chicks. I'm like, no, you're on the wrong side of history. Here I was. And that's why I'm part of the Renaissance right now. Guys, check my article. And I think it's Allure Australia. They credit me as bringing back part of that trend. Oh, Marie Claire Australia. We're getting away from the fray here. That's not even making sense to the audience.
I was thinking Marie Calendar.
Oh my God, not even the fray. We're bringing back... I'm sorry, the script.
Hello.
If it was the fray, this would have been a different conversation. What was the one weird thing that they did?
So they have a song that I guess is older, but I hadn't heard of, and it's called Nothing. And we did listen to it on the way down, so I had heard it once that day. But he said, oh, before cancel culture, babes. He was Irish. I don't know. I can't do Irish. But he said before cancel culture, they would always call somebody's ex from the audience on the phone and just put it on speaker and sing this song about breaking up or whatever to this ex and then hang up. So he asked if anybody had an ex that they could FaceTime. So a guy raises his hand, waves his phone, and he's like, here's my soon-to-be ex. Okay, so they're still together, and this is, I guess, news to her.
Still together.
And he props the phone up on the stage. She answers. He like held the mic up to the speaker, and she's like, what's going on? And he goes, we have a song we have to play for you. We're the script. And then proceeded to play the song, and it was just so weirdly uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, and everyone was like vibing, and I'm like, I feel bad for this girl because apparently they're not even broken up yet, and this is like kind of her finding out in front of 2,500 people at the House of Blues in Boston. And at the end, what did he say to her?
He wanted the whole crowd to like scream "fuck you" or something,
No,
or like
that.
No, it was like "bye asshole."
You bye asshole. And he's like, yeah, we use this all the time before cancel culture. And I'm like, I'm not a fan of cancel culture, but I am a fan of canceling this. It was awful. I was like, wait, what are you doing? You're the script.
Yeah, I did not partake in screaming "bye asshole." It was uncomfortable. But also, what I have the narrative in my head to make me feel better that she was probably in on it. He was in the front row. So he's the boyfriend, the soon-to-be ex, possibly, seem to have, spent money to get a good seat, to get a good look at this band all the way from Ireland, home of the potato. And I'm assuming that she knew about it and knew the lore because they said that they would do this at all their shows, and he was just excited to be a part of it. She didn't hang up. She could have hung up at any point, and she didn't.
But John, when we were walking out, he was like, well, maybe she's a super fan, and like this was his way of getting her involved in the show. I'm like, if she was a super fan, Jonathan, I think she would have paid the $38 for a GA ticket.
Oh.
So I don't know. That was weird. But back to the positive. When Break Even did come on, I was obsessed. I was screaming.
We were screaming. Also, the audience a lot younger than we thought, younger than I thought would have been.
It's because Boston has so many college-age kids. I think they get like discounts day of tickets.
Oh,
I think they're
probably.
like, oh, if you want to go see the script for $15, like get a rush ticket or whatever.
They can pay with their Trojan bucks.
Yeah, I looked at their wrists. A lot of them, they didn't have the 21 plus band.
And I got myself, you guys know how I feel about it, was a Take a Hike, my 21 plus band, and it was way too tight. My hand started to turn purple.
It didn't turn purple, but it was too tight. It was, you showed me yours and I was like, whoa, mine was loose.
It's when you wash your hands before you get in the venue, and by the end of the show, under that band is still wet from washing your hands. That's when you know it's way too tight, or I was a little too sweaty to make me nervous. But the show itself, 55 minutes.
Yeah, well, there was an opener, but they were on stage for 55 minutes. And my sister was like, oh, I wish they would have been longer. But as people who know very limited songs, I was fine with the 55.
I thought it was a great little time slot. I enjoyed myself.
I was excited to go out to the bars after and get some drinks and get some pizza.
Yeah, we did.
We had a fun time. As much as I don't know enough of the script to go to another tour, I think we made the best of it.
So the show was great, and then we stayed for another day, and then we were going to head back literally the following day after hanging out with everybody and going to visit your mom. But it was like 8 o'clock. We were like, okay, do we hit the road and possibly spend 4 hours driving all the way back home and then struggling to find a parking spot? Or do we just make the best of our last night and just go hang out, go out with some of your friends and party and then leave tomorrow? We decided to do the latter, which I'm very glad that we did.
Me too, because it was a fun night. And then we woke up at the hotel and we're like, let's hit the road. And I was very hungover. Obviously, I'm a martyr and I drove the entire way. On the way back, Jonathan didn't even offer once to drive.
And I won't. And I won't, because you're always going to say no. You're going to say, oh, thanks, but I want to get home today. Because you know that I will always drive. You know I will. But you just don't like that I take too long.
So I'm like hungover. I'm feeling creepy, like so creepy, you guys, that we pulled over at a gas station or like a road stop, whatever. And guess what I picked for chips?
This is how I knew you were unwell.
Lay's Original, the yellow bag. Isn't that freaky?
That is so freaky, especially because we just talked about how unnatural that is.
Yeah, because a yellow bag of Lay's is reserved for a family party and you're not hosting, you're a guest. And it's not the best food. And you're going to put that on your styrofoam plate and next to the pasta salad. I've never once ever purchased a bag of yellow Lay's. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying when given all the options of all the chips, if you go right to yellow Lay's, I need to help you because there's better options. But that being said, campers, that was the most sold out section of the chips.
Or maybe they just didn't get a restock because nobody's been buying.
But they always get a very large section.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of options. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
usually go for Ruffles, sour cream, and cheddar, 2 rows. A bag of yellow Lay's, 4 rows. And they were like to the back. So maybe I'm alone in this. You don't like them either.
No, I'm not. I had a couple, and even at that, I was like, I could do without.
There's still a little baggie downstairs. And I've never not eaten a personal bag of chips to the crumbs.
Yeah.
What did you get, you little creep?
I got, what did I got? Oh, I got the honey barbecue Fritos. And before you judge, yeah, they make your breath stank. They really do. But they're good. I enjoy them. I used to get them all the time in high school. They were like the Garth Brooks flavor or something. He had something to do with the flavor, or like he had a redemption code for his weird website that he would have for his music only. I think he's finally on Spotify, but for a while he wasn't. You would have to buy yourself those Fritos, that exact flavor, in order to listen to Garth Brooks.
Oh, I'm not a Garth girl. So obviously by these chip flavor picks, we were feeling creepy. And we drive the same route on 95 through Connecticut to go to Massachusetts all the time. And we've always passed this one kind of creepy landmark that is so camp counselors coded that the stars were aligned. We were feeling just enough hungover, just enough freaky to be like, hey, should we take an hour pit stop to
the PEZ Museum? Yes, we had passed the giant billboard for PEZ, and every time we passed it for the past literally over 4 years, I was always like, I wonder what's there. Like, what could it be? Like, what could be going on at the PEZ factory / museum? You know what? Let's turn this 4-hour drive into a 5-hour drive and just pull on over.
So we pulled over in Orange, Connecticut to the PEZ factory down a long industrial road, and you pull up and there are 3 groups of senior citizens taking group selfies in front of the PEZ factory store on a Sunday afternoon. And I looked at Jonathan and I said, this is where we need to be. These are our people. The campers need to know about this experience. We've passed it so many times. Campers, I'm going to give the PEZ factory outlet store an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
What would you give it?
I would probably give it about an 8 out of 10 as well. Yeah. I think when we arrived, they had a fun little activity set up for us that we did not know about.
Yes. So when you walk in, it's $5 a person, 4 for seniors. The old people behind us were excited about that. And so it was $10 for us to get in. And then they give you a $4 coupon cash back to spend on merchandise. So it's like, it's so weird and kitschy, but at the end of the day, we spent $10 and got a $4 coupon back. Like, hello, like, why wouldn't you? So you go inside, and I will say the entire display cases and like the facility itself is very, like, I don't know, well kept.
Yeah.
Wasn't dirty, wasn't run down, and it was exciting. And a lot of it is just like the history of PEZ and like all these like random collector pieces. So when you walk in, she's like, oh yeah, there's a game. And we have like this like hidden clues around all the display cases. And if you find all 8 like hidden clues, it'll spell out exactly what this like code word is. And you can spin a prize wheel for a free PEZ.
Yeah, for a PEZ dispenser.
Yes.
Yeah. Some of my favorite candies I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. PEZ kind of like suck.
You think? I don't mind them, but I won't go out of my way to eat them. To me, it's just a novelty that my dad would bring back from the airport along with a Beanie Baby when he's on a long trip. And that was just kind of like fun for me. We had seasonal ones we would rotate. I would put them in my window, the little dispensers. I had a sheep for Easter.
I like the dispenser. I think it's fun. The history of it's very fun. We've have so many creepy cool ones that we saw at these cases. I think the candy itself is like a lower quality Smartie. Not even close to a Razzle.
Literally, it is a Smartie. Well, Razzles turn into gum.
And that's why Razzles are superior. But yeah, no, it was funky and cool. And the entire time Jonathan is just gooping and gagging over all the antique PEZ dispensers. And I'm over here like elbowing kids and senior citizens to find all of the 8 missing codes.
So you found 7. It took a while. It really did. A full-on scavenger hunt in the PEZ factory.
Like 45 minutes. And it's the real factory. Like Monday through Friday, they're there behind the glass cases, like filling up dispensers and like making little plastic bips and bobs, and you can see it all. And they're playing Mark Summers' episode of Unwrapped the entire time on all screens. And I'm looking up and down. I'm like, oh, there's Marilyn Monroe's bust, and there it says SP for spooky. So I find out through context clues that it says like spooky fun times at PEZ. And I know it's spooky because the first two were SP and then it was KY, and everything else, it had to have been spooky. But I was nervous because at the end of looking at all the display cases, I could not find the second clue, which was OO. And I knew it was OO, but I was nervous that they were going to ask me at the counter where I found the OO because it was really difficult. And if I couldn't answer, they were going to know that I lied. Does that make sense, campers?
Zach thought that it was a decoy, that they never even put that final one out there, which to me, I'm like, that's crazy. But to him, he's thinking that when he walks up there and he's lying because he filled in the context clues without actually finding the double O, that the floor is going to open and they're going to force him to work their minimum wage for the rest of his life.
Well, I don't know. How embarrassing for them to be like, oh, you lied. You lied for a free PEZ dispenser.
And you look 30.
Yeah, you look stupid. So I then did one more final sweep for 15 more minutes looking at all the cases again. Could not find the double O. Campers, if you have time this week, go and let me know what the double O is. I could not find it. So when I got to the counter, Jonathan spent 15 minutes in the gift shop area picking out his perfect PEZ.
I had to find the exact one that was calling me. I originally thought it was Mufasa, but I didn't really like the way that his mane was too large. So I did end up settling with Sonic the Hedgehog, which I am pleased with.
So Jonathan puts his Sonic the Hedgehog down on the counter, and I slide my informational fill out card to the girl, and I look away.
You being so weird.
Because I felt so weird. And then she started being really weird. But then it quickly turned into she recognized me from the internet. And she was like, probably like literally 18. And she was like, oh my God. Can I please take a picture with you? And I'm like, yeah, no worries. So we take a picture and we're giggling. And then I gave her the card. And I was like, oh, did I get it right? She's like, yeah, it's fine. And she's like, just spin the wheel. So she didn't even check my card, which I knew it was the right phrase. I built up this whole narrative in my head that I was going to get in trouble, and she didn't even care. She was like, just spin the wheel. So I got a free bat PEZ dispenser, Halloween themed.
And it glows in the freaking dark.
Yeah, it was really cool. I really like the PEZ. I'm starting to like the PEZ factory.
It was fun. Like you gotta admit it. It was fun. It was a good time.
Oh my God. And I think we were like just so weird and creepy because we were hungover that we were like, let's just be like greasy at the PEZ factory.
But I will say the old ones, really spooky. Like the Peter Pan set from the 50s. Scary. Throw it out.
I think if you live in an area that has those kind of weird tourist attractions on the side of the highway, and you might have passed one your entire life, like just find the time to go explore it, because now you'll pass by and say, oh, I know what that lore is. Mm-hmm. And I'm a part of that history. You got to support these small local museums, because if you don't, they'll close. And then we're going to live in a world of just, I don't know, big box stores and sad chain restaurants. Like those are great too, but we got to support your local PEZ factory.
This episode of Camp Counselors is sponsored by BetterHelp. Think of a time recently when you didn't feel like you could be your full authentic self, like you were hiding behind a mask. October is the season for wearing masks and costumes, but some of us feel like we wear a mask and hide more often than we want to, at work, in social settings, and even around our family. Therapy can help you learn to accept all the parts of yourself so you can take off the mask, because after all, masks should be for Halloween fun, not for our emotions. I learned so much in therapy. Not only did I learn how to set boundaries and form better relationships with others, but I also learned about myself and how to love and accept all parts of me that make me, me. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's done entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Take off your mask with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/camp to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/CAMP.
Attention campers, please meet at the old flagpole under the tall pine for morning announcements. Welcome back to morning announcements, campers. This is the part of the show where we share news articles with you that you might have missed that we want you to spread like wildfire. Jonathan, take us away. What is on the docket for today?
So originally there was no article for this because I had found it in the wild, believe it or not. I was doing boots on the ground journalism. But there is an article which I will read the title of at the end. So there is this account on Instagram and it's called Dar City Skellies. That's DARR City Skellies. And they have this whole skeleton family in their front lawn. They're like normal size skeletons and they have those jumbo giant ass ones that everybody was buying in bulk 3 years ago. And they set them up in these little scenes every day. And then they change like maybe twice a week. It's very reminiscent of Say Cheese and Die, R.L. Stein, Goosebumps. And they portray anything from like a surgery scene. There's another one where there's a skeleton on top of a ride-on mower and there's one under it, completely being destroyed, bones all over the grass. They even had a patio table with an umbrella pole that had a dancer skeleton dancing on it, just having a good time. So the man behind these skeletons is the homeowner named Bill Piles. But to Bill and his family, the scariest thing to them wasn't their elaborate Halloween display, it's their mailbox, which every year curses him with hate mail.
People are pissed that he's doing this?
Yes. So let me just tell you, Dartown has a population, 514.
Where is Dartown?
It's in Ohio. And it is a very small town and it's a lot of flat property everywhere. And I actually wrote down their town slogan, Dartown, the only one in the world. And it hasn't been updated since 2014. So that's fun. But yeah, people are pissed. I think it's like a pretty religious area and everyone's like, this is devil worshiping. He was actually later interviewed by the news, and Bill said the messages from his angry neighbors accuse him of everything from worshiping the devil to glorifying death, which is why Bill was thinking about scaling back the display or just taking it down completely and not doing it this year. However, a letter was placed in their mailbox addressed to the family bone. And it says this: I have been driving past your house daily for the past 19 days on my way to radiation treatments. A highlight of my journey has been checking to see who else has joined the Bone family and what they are up to. Thankfully, Wednesday is my final radiation treatment, though I may need to continue to drive by once in a while to see what's new. Thanks for the diversion. Signed, Tammy. Immediately, Bill knew what he had to do, so he started adding to his display so that when this woman, Tammy, made her final trip, she would see the whole skeleton crew cheering her on. And this is so cute. So there's huge signs that say Tammy and they're like painted, and all the skeletons are dressed up. One's dressed up like a cheerleader, like doing the Kyle Richards splits on the ground. And the signs say, way to go, Tammy. You did it. You've got this. Never give up. And the Bone family skeleton dog even held a sign reading, last treatment day.
That is so sweet. And you know what? Like, if this was anywhere else, this would be hitting major. Like, where I'm from, people go nuts for like Christmas displays. And it's like, yeah, it's a skeleton. I will say, you showed me the pictures of the stripper skeleton, and it was a little risque, especially for like the Bible Belt or churchgoers. I can see how that was a little tongue in cheek, but see, like, his heart's in the right place. And I love all of this. I think this is so fun.
Yeah, I agree. But he did that last year. That was from 2023, and he wasn't doing it again. He mostly sets up like a little fake bar and has them like drinking. He has a series he's doing about like, he has a whole storyline on social media where the skeletons are welders. And he's like, see what they're going to weld today. And then he just like puts up sculptures and then he scraps them the next day. It's just like, I don't know, you got to keep up. But it's fun because who is he doing it for? There's 514 people in the town. Yes, he's posting it on social media, but he's just having fun with it.
Yeah, certain people go nuts for decorations. When we have a house one day, I want to be those people. I think that's more my speed. I think with Christmas lights, there's precision involved. You know, you really got to make it look great. Sometimes people go right to the net. If I can tell you're using a net over the bush, I'm not impressed. You throw a net over the bush. But like a single hand-strung kind of swirly gig, I'm obsessed with. This is definitely more my wheelhouse. This is acting. This is drama.
This literally is drama. It's like a diorama in your front yard.
Yes.
Okay, so then this is when CBS News comes in and they tracked down Tammy and they found Tammy Wahey, the woman who was receiving radiation treatment for her breast cancer. They sat her down and they interviewed her, and she said it was so touching to think someone would go to that effort for a stranger.
Oh.
So since the two have become friends, and Bill said, me and Tammy talk all the time now. Tammy's letter and their new relationship has completely canceled out all the other hate mail that he's ever received and probably will continue to receive. And it has inspired him to not only keep his Halloween display up, but expand it. And now he says he's going to keep it up year round.
Oh, I'm sure Dartown is obsessed with that. He's like, that's actually their worst nightmare. They're like, we just got one more month of this bullshit. And now, no. You got
Year
365
round.
of the stripping skeletons and the bar scenes.
So while he was being interviewed, a package arrived with great timing. There's a video of it. And inside the massive box were more additions to the family bone. So as we record this, they have 101 followers on TikTok and 1,600 followers on Instagram. And I think he definitely deserves a lot more. I don't know. It's you know me, like OG campers know that way back, maybe like 2 years ago, one of my camp crushes was an Instagram account that told stories about pens. Remember that? How it was like a comic book of pens.
Yeah, you also had that other one where it was that count that had like the squirrel sanctuary.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love that kind of
I
stuff.
love this shit. Okay.
You love human interest.
I do. I'm interested in humans. So that CBS News article was titled, "Man Thought About Scaling Back Halloween Display Until It Became a Surprising Source of Joy to a Cancer Patient."
Wait, why are news articles not just being a little bit more concise now?
Yeah, and that's why I didn't read it at the beginning. Usually I just want to like really build it up, but that would have given everything away.
Yeah, that is, what was that, AI?
Probably. He's like
Yeah.
looking for the SEO count because the whole article that was written was really just transcribed from the video.
Yeah, that's how mine is too, actually. It's funny because I think that article is going to blow up, and I think you're on like the forefront of it.
I don't know though, because at this point it's been like 3 weeks.
It was CBS News.
It was, but CBS News Ohio.
Oh, okay. But then that's they get local affiliates get picked up by national. You know what I mean? Like
It could.
there's a pipeline there, and with this show,
Yeah,
I'll
very
say
true.
this: there's a lot more people that listen to this show that are following his account. So campers, go check it out. See it on our Instagram too. What was your favorite scene that he created of the skeletons? Was there one that really jumped out at you?
The one that really jumped out at me was the stripper scene.
Oh my God, it's so funny. Also, so it's called The Family Bone.
They are called the Family Bone, but the Instagram account is Dar City Skellies.
Well, I was asking for The Family Bone because it's a reference to the Family Stone.
Oh, I wonder if that's what she was thinking when she wrote it.
I don't know. That's what I thought it was.
Oh no.
We'll have to check in on Darcytown.
Yeah, we'll have
Dartown, we're coming through.
to.
They're like, actually, we don't like gay people either. It's like, come on, Dartown, live a little.
Okay, so that is my story. Thank you so much for listening.
Speaking of gay people, my story is taking a dark twist.
Oh god.
This is a little bit of a bummer, but it's actually so tea. And I was like, the campers just need some juice. They need some hot goss. It can't just be on Mondays. You know what I mean? Like, I just think this was like juicy.
Come on, Gossip Doc. You told me like briefly what the title was, but I do not know the details.
Oh no, like I was watching this on the train back from my barbershop. I found this article on Reddit and I was like, wait, the title's so crazy. And then I watched the interview and I was like, this story is so bizarre. It's giving Ryan Murphy in a really chaotic way.
Okay.
Okay, so the title of this article is Calvin Klein's ex becomes a nightmare tenant, Santa Rosa couple says, by ABC 7 News San Francisco, Dan Noyes. A Santa Rosa man battling Parkinson's disease took in a tenant at his home to help pay the bills. But the tenant turned out to be a nightmare. He also turned out to be the ex-boyfriend of fashion designer Calvin Klein.
Calvin Klein to me is an enigma. I couldn't pick out the man in the crowd.
It is so funny that you say that because as I was reading this article, I was like, oh my God, I own so much Calvin Klein from Macy's, maybe even Nordstrom, but I had never seen Calvin Klein.
Yeah, I honestly don't think I know what he looks like.
It's fine. I know who Marc Jacobs is. Like
Right.
I could pick Marc Jacobs out of a crowd in a minute.
Mhm.
So then when I was reading this article, I was like, wait, what does he look like? I looked him up. I was like, not what I would have thought, but also what I would have thought.
If you could cast a celebrity to play him in a movie.
Someone with Botox, someone with like
Oh.
filler, someone that's like a muscle gay in their 60s. And that's the physical description. So you have to kind of work backwards from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Specific.
Daniel Craig with a little bit of lip filler.
Daniel Craig apparently is not gay.
You have been spreading that misinformation like wildfire.
Well, because he doesn't want to talk about it.
Babe, no one thought he was gay. I think you put that in everyone's head.
Okay.
Back to
I
the
retract
story.
my statement. Let's get back to the story.
So his boyfriend's name?
What?
Nick Gruber.
Like McGruber?
Well, how would you pronounce Gruber? Gruber.
Gruber.
Not Grubber.
No, that'd be two B's. Like
You're
rubber.
So right, because Uber driving.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nick Gruber got used to the spotlight as Calvin Klein's partner. They had a 48-year age difference. Okay. So, and he had some very public controversies. He agreed to talk to ABC 7 News about the criminal record and this complaint that he was a problem tenant. So this article is really interesting, campers, because Dan Noyes somehow locks in an interview with the tenants, like the tenant, like the gay guy, Nick Gruber, and then the elderly gay couple who are like the landlords. So we're getting both sides of the story here. I'm like, he's really gunning for like a bigger position. He's like, I'm doing groundbreaking research right now. So during the pandemic, Richard Jones and his husband, Alfonso Monreal, were looking for a roommate, someone to help pay the bills at their Santa Rosa home. Jones is battling Parkinson's disease. So Richard Jones is the landlord. He's a lot older than his partner, Alfonso Monreal. They're living in this house. They need help with the money. So then they get introduced to Nick Gruber, Calvin Klein's ex-boyfriend.
Okay.
We're following?
Yes, I'm following.
So he made a very great first impression. He seemed like a nice guy. He was young, single, and just very polite. His partner also added, I did my research. I did a background check. And I was like, okay, Calvin Klein's ex-boyfriend. Like, what could go wrong here?
How did they meet? Like, did they put a post up, or were they like?
I think a
asking
mutual
around?
friend, because
Ooh.
they're also gay. So like, you know, the gay scene, babe. It's
Yeah.
like if people know each other, they go to the bar. Oh, I know a guy is looking for a roommate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, roommates, age gaps, poppers, got it.
Yeah, and even the landlords, they have a big age gap. There's a lot of age gaps going on here.
Yeah.
And so Gruber made frequent appearances in the tabloids after seeing Calvin Klein in 2010. So he was kind of like a socialite. So he was also the fashion designer's first public same-sex marriage. So Gruber was 20 years old when he started dating Calvin Klein, who was 68. Their romance even inspired an off-Broadway play, Skin Tight, by Roundabout Theater Company in New York, who Idina Menzel was in that show.
Idina Menzel. I had no Idina Menzel.
So all the attention was like awesome for Gruber. Like he was really loving being in like the limelight of it all.
Uh-huh.
He even said in this article, I was chasing the lights. It was all glam and fashion. I guess it could be a culture shock for some, but I adapted quickly. I enjoyed it.
I'm sure he did.
And to see him at 20 years old with a 68-year-old man, and he was like, he's giving all American, like farm boy, chiseled chin, a little bit of a gap in his tooth, like hot.
How old is he now?
I don't know. That was 2010, so he was 20 then. So now he's like 35.
Okay.
So this was a long time ago when he dated Calvin Klein.
Right.
So Gruber's relationship with Calvin Klein ended after 2 years because he got caught up in the New York City party lifestyle. He said, after the separation, the drugs kind of followed me a little bit and haunted me over the years, and it was something he had to deal with. So Gruber's run-in with laws over drugs and sometimes guns continued when he began living with Jones and his husband in 2021. So this is 10 years later. He's had a drug problem. He's had previous gun charges. And now he's somehow across the country in Santa Rosa, California, living with them. And this is following him there.
Sometimes guns. This isn't the vowels. This is an A-E-I-O-U and sometimes guns.
Babe, the way that you're picking up on this is just how Gruber lives his lifestyle. Listen to this conversation he had with the interviewer. Okay, so the Noyes, the interviewer, is like, you were dealing drugs at a point in time. And then Gruber responds and says, I was in the drug industry at the time. Yes. And then the interviewer is like, I'm hearing you make a difference between selling drugs and being in the drug industry. If you don't want me to use that expression, selling drugs, can you describe for me what you were doing in the drug industry? I'm like, this interviewer is slaying the boots. Like, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I want to know. Because you're not a drug dealer, but you're in the drug industry. What does that mean?
Back in 2010, he's like, marijuana is a plant. I'm a florist. He's like, bitch, I'm a pharmacist.
So Gruber replies and says, I was a broker. I'll call the client. And then I would get a hold of the person who's the supplier and arrange the deals.
Clever way to spin it.
Yeah, well, you know what? The rich don't want to talk to the drug dealers. They want to talk to a middleman who is a drug broker. So, and being Calvin Klein's ex-boyfriend, this was like a perfect like setup for him. But now we're 10 years later and it's like, okay, that was 8 years ago. Time to move on. But
Skin Tight is off Broadway.
Old habits die hard. Is that the expression?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, we'll keep going with this. So the neighborhood's like, well, it was a nice neighborhood until he moved in. Neighbors recalled cars coming and going in late into the night. So we know what's happening. He's stealing drugs out of the house. So it all ended when Santa Rosa police responded to a call for a tenant-landlord dispute and checked Gruber's records and learned that he was on probation for prior criminal conviction. So usually they're required to submit a warrant to check the property, but since he was like on probation, they didn't have to submit a warrant. They were allowed to just search his property, and he had a bedroom and a locked closet in the house. So police go into the room, they find the bedroom and the locked closet, and they found a semi-automatic handgun unregistered, and approximately 9 pounds of methamphetamines and $10,000 worth of cash.
Fabulous.
Literally. So police arrest Gruber and charge him with possession for sale of a controlled substance with a special allegation for excess methamphetamines, possession of a firearm by a felon, identity theft, and forgery. Not sure where those two come in, but maybe he had like a fake ID in there.
Maybe. Quick question.
Yeah, of course.
The guy said that he did a background check. He didn't do a good one.
I think when he said that, I think he just Googled him. I don't think he did like a formal, and you're right, because I don't think he did like a formal, I think he was just like, oh, let me just search him on the internet, and was like, oh, he's Calvin Klein's ex-boyfriend. How bad can he be? I also would be naive and think that was fine.
Yeah, I would have at least gone on Google and clicked the news tab and seen anything that any outer source has written about him, but that's just me.
You love research.
I do.
You also love, what is it called when people go into a museum and they do?
Brown nosing.
No, in a museum, what do they do?
Peruse.
No, the people who work there. They don't catalog, they archive. You love archival stuff.
Oh, I love it. Give me a fucking scanner and an old photo.
Like, you just like to look into the history of really anything. So you'd be good at this.
Yeah.
So they weren't, is what I'm getting at here.
Clearly.
And I think they also had that suggestion of the personal friend. We're going to keep going because this story really gets worse. So they arrest him, like I just said. So Richard and Anthony, the landlords, thought the problem had been solved, because they were like over him, you know what I mean? But Gruber got out after 2 years at High Desert State Prison. That's such a fierce name.
High Desert.
High Desert. Found the couple at their new apartment in Oakland and asked for his belongings. He said, I have a lot of property there. And as a landlord, you have a duty and obligation to protect my property, and you failed to do so. You failed to give me my property to my family friend. So Jones said he followed his attorney's advice. Like the landlord, he said, I followed my attorney's advice. I sent an eviction notice and a letter warning Gruber he was going to dispose of his property. He's like, I waited 6 months for him to show up, and he never showed up, never heard from him. So I donated a bunch of his stuff to the Mormon church. I just like that he was like, we're picking the Mormons. Yeah,
the Mormons are always going to end up somehow in a conversation now.
Can you be gay and Mormon? Is that ignorant to ask?
Is
he Mormon? Why did he pick the Mormon church?
I don't know. Maybe because it's trendy right now.
Well, exactly. Maybe that. Gruber sued Jones for breach of contract and valued his property at $182,000, which was a long list of mostly designer clothes, 2 Prada suits at $10,000, a $10,000 Rolex, a $10,000 custom Calvin Klein desk. And Gruber also sought $233,000 more in damages, but quickly the judge ruled in favor of the landlord and tossed out that part of the lawsuit.
You know, I would normally say this is so dumb and it's not worth that much, but I 100%. This is Calvin Klein's ex that we're talking about, who's been probably gifted so much shit.
Oh my God, exactly. It's like, you know what? He probably did own some very, very expensive stuff. I agree. So the judge was like, the $230,000 in damages, you're being foolish. But he's like, the judge was like, wait. So we need to actually dive in a little bit more into the value of what the property was in the room, because there is some grounds there, right? So Gruber, unfortunately, could not provide any receipts for most of his property. Why? Because it's all gifted. You know, he didn't pay for any of that. He was the boy toy. He wasn't buying $10,000 Rolex. Calvin Klein was.
But
based on my Macy's money. Okay. How much Calvin Klein? Every man in this country has a Calvin Klein white button up in their closet from some wedding they had to go to, from a Men's Warehouse or a Macy's. It's just, he's money.
I have two.
Yeah, I think
I literally moved it this morning to get my suitcase.
After all this, the judge did award Gruber a total of $8,683. So
wait, 80 or 8?
$8,000.
Oh,
yeah, and that's like less than the cash they even found in the house. So the interviewer was like, "That's a big difference from $180,000 down to $8,000. How do you feel about that?" And Gruber says, "I mean, I'm just happy that I was able to win." It was like all about winning for him.
Ew.
So poor Jones, old man
Yeah.
Jones with Parkinson's. Oh my God, so sad. Jones tells us after lawyer fees, he's broke and he has no way of paying the $8,000, and that the stress of dealing with Gruber has made his Parkinson's disease symptoms worse. He's like, "I'm very emotional because it affects me so bad, and I'm still having to fight and have these memories come back of what I went through. I take it very personally." And then the interviewer is like, "You know how much pressure you put on him and his family, like how much you put him through." And Gruber's like, "Yes, I mean, I apologize for what happened. I do, from the heart, I apologize. I mean, it shouldn't have ended this way, or it shouldn't have even happened." So Gruber tells us that he's been clean and sober for 3 years now. Congrats, Gruber. And that he's studying to become a firefighter. Okay, pivot. He's also writing a book. He says his time with Calvin Klein is just one chapter. No, it's crazy. And if you were to watch the article online, it's really sad because Jones is like physically like just so shaken up by it. And he's like, well, that was
a poor choice of words.
I didn't really,
and I understand,
wasn't being silly, but like, yeah.
This is a safe place.
Yeah. He was just really upset by this whole process. And then there's like this like kind of like washed up Calvin Klein boyfriend who's like 30, who like, he's definitely had a past. And he's like, it is what it is, you know? This is life. It's just, it sounds like a Ryan Murphy show, doesn't it?
It 100% does. And now my question, I'm racking my brain now and I'm thinking, what would I do in that position? But it's like, if he sent a letter, like an eviction notice to the friend and gave him 6 months to whoever was in charge, because it's like you don't know how long he's going, or I guess they did know how long he was going away for, but what are you supposed to do with his stuff, especially when you're moving? You're not dragging it to your house. You're not going to pay for a locker to keep his shit in. You don't know if he's ever going to come back and pay you for however long this shit's been in there.
I wonder if they didn't send certified mail. So if you didn't send like a notary or certified mail and there was no proof that the mail was delivered, the whole argument is that, oh, I never got the envelope. And then that's thrown out.
Oh.
And that's why being a landlord is just such a nightmare. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, those people, like the sharks and the slumlords, they make a lot of money, but when they fall hard. It's not worth it to me. It really isn't worth it. But yeah, this is it's a tough story. It really is. Grab your bug juice and bear spray, campers. It's time to pack it up and take a hike.
Welcome back to Take a Hike. This is the part of the show where we bitch a little, we lace it up, and we tell something to take a hike. I got a bone to pick with Brock's, everybody's favorite candy corn. And I love candy corn. We discussed this last autumn. I'm a fan of candy corn.
You are.
You're not.
There's exceptions to every situation, but overall, I am not a fan, correct?
So they have this autumn mix, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with. That's the one that comes with the candy corn and the little pumpkins. So you like the pumpkins and you only like the pumpkins because I learned.
Why?
It's called a mellow cream. It is different. I thought they were the same as the candy corn, but it's not.
That's why. Okay, thank you. I thought I was going crazy because I'm like, why do I like these but not the candy corn?
No. So
okay, what's mellow cream?
I think I don't know, but it's trademarked. So I think it's whatever formula they're coming up with for the pumpkins. It's Ushi and Gushi.
It is so Ushi and so Gushi. My nunu nana.
Play with my nunu nana. So this autumn mix comes with the mellow cream pumpkins, candy corn, and a harvest corn.
Oh, that's what that third one is. The harvest corn. This is really hard-hitting journalism. I didn't know what these were all called.
New to me. I had never had one before.
Nunu Nana to you?
Nunu Nana to me. I take a bite into this bitch, and it's chocolate flavored candy corn.
So chocolate candle wax.
It tastes like what I assume Augustus Gloop's earwax tasted like when they dredged him out of the OSHA situation Wonka has going on.
I was going to say it probably tastes like Cocoa Bomb scented Yankee Candle.
That as well. It tasted so awful. This is the shit that Miss Hannigan would give those little orphans to distract them when CPS showed up. And I'm going to CC Tootsie Roll in on this because I hate Tootsie Rolls too.
No, now you've gone too far.
It tastes like a Tootsie Roll, but waxier.
I like every Tootsie Roll. I like the small ones that are in the little wraps. I like when they get big and they get a little cardboard boat. Those are good too. What is a Tootsie Roll? They kind of are candy corn adjacent.
It's chocolate flavored taffy.
Do you like Yoo-hoo?
I haven't had Yoo-hoo since I was probably like
No, that's gross.
12.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, that's water chocolate milk.
But those are all in the same trailer park of snacks.
Yeah,
Those
it's
are
not good. It's chocolate drink.
candy corn, Tootsie Roll, Yoo-hoo. They're all at the broken down truck stop. And they're like, hey, man. Hey. Like tweaked out. They're trying to get a ride. It's like, okay, are you good? Like, they're like just washed up.
However, I will say, though I totally agree, I'll enjoy a Tootsie Roll if it's a little surprise and I find one at the bottom of my purse, which I don't own, and I find a little one. I don't care how old it is. Maybe I'm going to try it.
Do you like the fruity Tootsie Rolls?
I fucking love the fruity Tootsie
Yeah,
Rolls.
I
I
knew
love
you
them. I
would.
love the one that comes in the blue with the white. And I think that's because I like taffy. But I don't want a chocolate flavored taffy. I don't think anything should be chocolate flavored. It's either chocolate or it's not.
No, I do agree. And I think Tootsie Roll is my exception, but I agree with the category. I agree with what you're saying. So you don't like the harvest corn. That's your take a hike?
Yeah, my take a hike is for the harvest corn. So Brox, if you think that this is going to mean repeat business for me after eating that, you need to move the fuck on.org. Except for the candy corn. I will be back for the candy corn.
I love what a candy corn looks like, what it represents. I think it's fun. I also love when people put them like and they build a corn out of the cob of candy corn. That's so fun.
I love a candy corn. And I'm going to eat the rest of them. But the harvest corn is disgusting. The color of them even. It's like brown and then orange.
Well, it needs to be harvested. It's going bad.
It's
on the
going.
cob.
It's the huitlahoche of candy corn.
It's like so embarrassing when you go to a pumpkin field to get your pumpkin for Halloween and you're like on a little hay bale, like a hay ride, right?
Yeah.
And you're going through the corn and it's like the corn's dead. And you're just seeing like moldy, wet corn and then run over by the tractor. And you're like, vibes are high, but that's disgusting. Let's go rat.
Yeah, and all the mice are like, wait, we love this.
Oh my God, wet corn. Can I buy bags of the pumpkins?
Of what pumpkins?
The Brox.
Oh, just pumpkins?
Yeah.
Oops, all pumpkins.
That's Nunu Nana information. I was gonna say Miss Hannigan was like giving them candy when she wanted to play with her Nunu Nana too. Jonathan and I just recently had the expression Nunu Nana. Can we just tell them about it? Because I want to keep saying it. I want to add it to the camp lore because I think it's such a funny word.
Yes.
What did you see?
There was a video on X, formerly Twitter.
Just call it Twitter.
And it's a clip of Mr. Beast burying one of his friends for 700 grand. Nothing better to do with the money. The tweet said, would you do this for 700 grand? And somebody retweeted it and said, bury me. I'll just play with my Nunu Nana.
So we're just going to interchangeably use it for fresh things, for when I'm looking for new information, my new Nana information. Like honestly, it's just like a filler word, kind of like minky and minchy. So campers, I'm sorry if you're new here, you're like, why? What is this podcast even about? And we're not even sure yet. Thank you for sharing that.
You're so welcome. I just had to get that off my plate and get it out of my candy bowl.
No, I agree. And I think a secondary one is my take a hike that isn't mine right now, but like, what is Mr. Beast doing? That's sinister. I don't trust him. I don't like him.
No, I haven't
There's
liked him.
darker motives there.
And his team needs to get out of my DMs because they
Oh,
keep
I
trying
know,
to
me
send me
too.
shit and I keep reporting it.
Mr. Beast chocolate bars. Can we send you Mr. Beast chocolate bars? I'm like, go fuck something else, not me.
Okay, so what are you bitching about? Let's get it out.
Why is everything at the pharmacy and the department store locked up behind cases right now? It's getting out of control. It used to make sense in certain areas. And I was like, okay, if we're in a high crime area, I get why. It's loss prevention. They're trying to avoid like looting and theft. And it's like, obviously, we're not idiots. That's why things are being locked up. Is theft this big of an issue? And I did some research, and there's been a lot of discourse about this in the past year. So regardless of where you think these should be, they're popping up in areas that are actually making these businesses lose a lot of money. They're hemorrhaging. So,
Ew.
what?
Hemorrhaging?
You've never used that? You never heard that like in a business sense? You don't watch Shark Tank, apparently.
No, I don't. I'm scared of sharks.
Yeah, our business is hemorrhaging. So Consumer World did a nationwide study. In less than 1 in 3 shoppers will get a store employee to open a case. 32%. People will see that and just be like, I'm not doing this today.
Honestly,
isn't that crazy?
I would like to be counted as the populace.
Yeah, exactly. So initially this was started as theft prevention, correct? Right? We understand that.
Mhm.
But it's ruining customer experience. It's adding wait times for consumers to get their items. And most are like leaving stores without things they need, like I just said in that example, which is contributing to sales reduction and higher labor costs. So stores are losing, right?
Mhm.
Customers are losing,
Mhm.
right? Guess who's winning? Amazon.
Oh.
People are buying these things on Amazon because they just don't want to wait to get their detergent. And I understand, because you're hitting those buttons and you're waiting for someone to come over. What if I'm buying an unmentionables? What if I'm buying lube? What if I'm buying, I don't know, an enema? Hello? Like, that's embarrassing. I don't want you to be, it's embarrassing.
And then they announce it over the store to like, assistance needed in colon cleansing aisle. It's like, don't blow up my spot while I have to stand there for the next 2 minutes while everybody walks by knowing that my colon needs to be cleansed.
Yeah. And then it's like, and then you get one and you're like, oh, can you open this one for deodorant? But then can we go over an aisle because I need another one? It's like, I feel terrible for those employees.
They're in them, they're already underpaid.
And the minute they walk away, someone needs them right back.
Oh my God. It's like Cooking Mama.
Unlock the cases. Put people back at the registers, get rid of the robots, start employing people. This should not be happening. I don't know. The customer experience at stores is at an all-time low, and then Amazon is the real winner here. And you know what? I get it. Because who wants to wait for their Tide Pods? I don't. We're all busy. We're all trying to do shit.
Yeah. It is Locktober after all.
Do you think the new counselor likes the top bunk or the bottom bunk? Over.
Either way, I'm giving them my boondoggle keychain. Over.
Welcome back to Camper Crush of the Week, campers. Switching gears here. We're all about love and light and happiness and joy. This part of the show is all about who is winning our gold medal this week, what we believe did a great job, and what we're obsessed with. Jonathan, who is your crush of the week? Or what's your crush of the week?
Mothballs.
So incredibly foul, and I'm not even gonna say anything else. I want you to defend yourself, because not to yuck your yum, but actually I am, because this is foul behavior. This is not no.
Not me hating Tootsie Rolls, but loving mothballs. What is wrong with me? No,
you're being freaky.
I thought we were all on the same page. I didn't know that there was a mutual hatred until you and I were walking past the thrift store, and I was like, oh, it smells like mothballs. I like that smell. And you acted like that was the craziest thing I could have said.
It was. That's foul. Every time I smell a mothball, I'm like, ew, ew, ew. It's like, hello, it's not the Great Depression anymore. Are there moths in your walls like that? I haven't seen a moth in 3 years. When was the last time you saw a moth eating my wool? And you're over here like, can Yankee Candle make a scent? You're being freaky.
I think it smells, I didn't know that everyone else thought it smelled like a damp shoebox. I think it smells nice. It smells earthy. It smells grounding. I feel grounded. It takes me back to my grandparents' house, Dare I say, am I smelling sandalwood? I don't know.
I know you have this emotional connection, but newsflash, we all do. We all know our grandparents' house smelled like that, but I think we all were like, ew, Nana, open a window.
No, Nana.
Nana, open a window. Nana. I gotta stop. But that's okay. I'm gonna stop shitting on it because it's your crush of the week. But I think the cheese stands alone here.
And this cheese is standing alone with some slam poetry. Yes, I wrote.
A poem?
A scent so sharp, yet oddly sweet, like hidden things of floorboards beneath my feet. In sorry, I'm getting choked up. It's literally dust. In dusty trunks, in closets deep, it guards the past, helps secrets keep. The mothy tang to some is strange, the smell they'd rather just exchange. But to me it sings of days long gone, of olden sweaters still held on. Thank you so much. And also, they are harmful if you come within 50 cubic feet of them. So there is that. Yeah.
First of all, great poem. As much as I disagree, that was really well written.
Thank you.
What do you mean you're injured within 50 cubic feet? What the fuck is a cubic feet? Like, just stop. Like, just be clear, everyone. Because that's how people are getting sick. What does that mean?
Well,
like, I
cubic
just can't
foot,
handle
it
that.
could be like if you're, well, think about a cube.
I'm not measuring things with a box in my hand.
Well, I'm talking about like if it's 50 feet away and it's downstairs, we're 50 feet up. So that's like a cube, but you could stack the cubes if you're like measuring by cubes.
I don't like this. Just that's 50 feet.
Yeah.
So
no,
what
it is
happens
50 feet.
So you can't be within 50 feet of a mothball?
They have
Wait, I'll picture your house.
they have found that they are harmful because I didn't know. I thought it was like a natural thing. I thought it was like a satchel that someone just like literally took into the woods and scooped up the dead needles of pine trees and like cedar bark. But it's literal chemicals that is mild rat poison, and you're not supposed to touch them. So the mothballs that they still sell, you're not supposed to buy, but they come in a bag where the balls themselves are in a net within a bag. So you're not supposed to really contact the net that's touching them, but you're supposed to touch the bag that is touching the net that is touching them. That's how like bad it is.
The way you're comparing it to sandalwood and pine, and I actually just figured out what I think it smells like. To me, it smells like a cavity. It smells like bad breath. It smells like oral rot. Not no.
Maybe I'm discovering something. This could be like cilantro. Does anybody else think it smells like soap or like DK? Because I think it smells good.
No, because the thing is, this show reaches all corners of the world.
Someone out there is going to like it. And I need to know that I'm not alone. And you need to know, if you're listening right now, you're not alone.
We are really popular in
Just stop the sentence
and
there.
Tobago, and we are really popular in St. Lucia. We're always charting high on their comedy charts.
It is strange, isn't it?
We have a very large St. Lucia audience.
Do you think they're bots? Little robots listening out there?
Well, it all counts towards the download, so
okay,
I'll take it. So, you know what? As I say that, because there will be a camper out there that will defend you. But camper, just know that you are on the wrong side of history.
No.
And there'll be pitchforks and flames at your door. And it'll be me leading the charge.
I will lead us not into temptation.
But there's compromise here. And the compromise for our life is that we can't have that. We can't have rat poison that smells like a cavity in our closet.
No. Oh my God. Buffy, I feel like would show interest in it because she's into weird, stinky things. Like she loves a shoe. Zach came home from a 6-mile walk yesterday, takes off his shoes. Where's the cat? Balls deep in his shoe. Literally, her face is, I can see her lungs expanding. She's huffing this shit. We got to take her to like a rehab center or something.
Yeah, she would love Whippets.
Is that your crush of the week, Whippets?
Yeah, my crush of the week is Whippets. I'm just joking. My crush of the week are text reactions on iPhone. I don't know if people who don't have iPhones have that.
A text reaction?
So you know when like someone's texting you and you can like click the text and you can either do a heart, a thumbs up, a thumbs down, a haha, a double exclamation point, or a question mark. I just really think this was smart intuition and design because not only is it like easy, I think not every conversation needs like I think it's a great punctuation. It's a period. Because it's like, oh, I'm confirming I saw this. This was funny. The conversation's over. Or it can really highlight like, oh, I really need to let you know that was funny. Let's keep talking. But like if someone sends a heart on a message I sent them and I felt like it was over, it's very clear the conversation's over now.
Yeah.
I like that. It's like, because sometimes it was like, what do I respond one more time?
I get it.
I like that.
I get that. I like that too. My manager does that a lot because I think I'm a little too chatty when he's really busy. He's like clearly doing something New York Fashion Week. And I'm like, look at this picture of me. Is this fun? And he'll like it and move on. I'm like, okay, got it. Thank you so much. The shadiest one to send. a question mark. If I ever receive a question mark.
Well, I was just going to say that on the other side of the text reaction, like love, I love that it's so, it can end a conversation, right?
Punctuational.
But I also love that it is like quite possibly the most passive aggressive feature on the iPhone. Like if you want to be weird or shady or just crazy, like there's an option there. You know what I mean? You can even haha something that isn't funny. Like,
you know what else you could do?
What?
If someone's like talking with you and then they like do or say something that via text message they had said the complete opposite, do a little scroll for a mile if you have to, find that text message, and if you heart it, they will be notified of what message you hearted.
Yeah. Or what if it was like, oh, I'm sorry, like last minute I can't come to your party, like I don't feel great, or like you're making up a fake excuse, and then they thumbs up it.
Oof. Oh, that's a gut punch. That is a gut punch.
I know, but it's tactful. It's, as Cody Rigsby would say,
tactful pettiness.
It really is, though.
It is. It really is. And then when you're in a group chat and you just keep collecting those ha-has from everyone when you're saying something funny, bitch, you can't tell me anything that day because I'm walking a little taller.
Yeah, it's like a love, a ha-ha, a double exclamation point. It's like, oh my God.
I'm sitting like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hands behind your head, collecting a menagerie of text reactions.
Like, yeah, I'm the funny one.
I just think I was using it the other day on the walk and I was like, hey, this feature really did the damn thing. And it's my crush of the week.
I love that. That is clever. And that's, it's simple, but it's tactful.
Heart. What song's been stuck in your head all week? Welcome to Camp Songs. Welcome back to Camp Songs. We love music. Music feeds our soul. It feeds my nana.
Music on demand.
Oh my God. If I were a boy. Music on demand. That was the one.
Why did we all have that copy at some point?
Because everyone had that song.
Was it LimeWire?
Yeah, well, I actually was kind of, I was like on the end of LimeWire. I really was heavy on YouTube to MP3 converter. That was my thing.
My neighbor got in trouble for downloading. As soon as I moved to Pennsylvania, the year was 2007, it was either Napster or it was LimeWire. It was my friend's older brother. We were on the same bus together. He got in so much trouble with the police. Like, police were involved. Like, I don't know what he was doing over there.
What was the seed about? Because some people were the seeds.
What's a seed?
So, like, how LimeWire worked, to my understanding, and there's a camper out here that's going to be like, that's false information. I believe some people were like the hosts. So, like, I would always download a song from somebody who was hosting, but then the people that really got in trouble were the people who had it like live from their computer, and they were like letting people like take it from them, like Mother Queen Bee.
Oh, okay. So I think
so maybe he was that.
Probably, because that I never downloaded off of LimeWire, whether you want to believe it or not. I think
I don't believe that, actually.
I never did, because
he was huffing mothballs in the basement.
I had things to do, but I would go to the library. I would get a CD and put it on iTunes. Are you crazy? Like, that's the easy way to do it. I love a free resource. I love to archive.
Come on, Libby.
But after I saw that happen to my friend's older brother, I was like, okay, that's it. I'm never doing that, because I saw they had our block was like on watch. I was like, why would I would never be so dumb.
I have a theory here. I believe we all know somebody, Victoria Justice, that like knows somebody that got a letter for pirating music. I also know somebody that I went to high school with. So I have a theory that they targeted one child from every public school in the nation to get the letter to spread the good word that you were going to jail. Because then I think we all calmed down. Because it was scary. I didn't get the letter. I knew a girl that got the letter.
That's too close to home. Do you remember that episode of The Proud Family where Penny becomes friends with somebody who was downloading music? Like, it was right when Napster was getting like,
no, I don't remember
huge.
This. That's so funny though. Yeah. Like, so topical of Disney.
Mm-hmm. And that was like, it was kind of like a drug that they played into, but they were trying to tell everybody, don't download music illegally.
I loved The Proud Family. Oh my God. That show was very funny.
Yeah.
I loved the grandma and I loved the dad.
Love that.
Proud Family, they'll push your buttons.
Oh my God.
Make you wanna love them. Family.
Who sang on that song?
Destiny's Child, baby.
Well, it was Solange. It was Solange's song featuring Destiny's Child.
They were trying to get her in it.
Beyonce,
Kelly.
Music on demand.
Oh my God,
circle.
full circle. Anyways, we actually have not told you our songs of the week. So this is a part of the show where we share what songs have been stuck in our head all week. They're added to a playlist linked below if you ever want to catch up on some new hits or some classics you might have forgot about. Jonathan, what's your song of the week?
My song of the week is by the great Canadian poet, known for her lyrical work mostly, but also her vocal artistry as the voice of Heather on Over the Hedge. It is Avril Lavigne. And my song is What the Hell? Because all my life I've been good, but now, what the hell? I said as I downloaded Napster. I love that song. It came on my iPod when I played it on Scramble, and I said, we don't have a single gosh bleep Avril Lavigne song on this playlist. And I think, what the hell? I love Avril Lavigne. Do you have a favorite Avril song that's coming to the top of your head?
Complicated.
That's a good one.
I'm going to go classic there. I love Skater Boy. I love What the Hell. I also like the one where she's like, I don't like your boyfriend.
Oh, girlfriend.
No, I knew. You need a new one. Like that, in that time of life, like every song was like, I'm stealing your man. And it was like kind of fun. But this one is wow.
This one is good. It's not my favorite, but I wasn't going to do my favorite because I'm like, I cannot keep doing anything but Ordinary off of her first album. And I'm like, someone might know it, but it's definitely a B-side. You know the words only because I listen to it a lot, but Anything But Ordinary, maybe I'll throw it on there too. I'm going to add that, but I can't do a B-side. Like I need something to talk about. And everybody knows What the Hell because I'm like, what the hell? You seen the music video?
Yes.
She tried so hard with Abby Dawn.
Yeah.
Her clothing company. ABBEY Dawn.
Was it in Kohl's?
It was in Kohl's. It was a Kohl's featured. Yeah, they like it was like candies. I think you might be
surprised how well it did. You know what I mean?
It ended up at New York Fashion Week.
Well, see, that's where I think it's taking a twist. It's like, yeah, you got a room, but it wasn't like I'm gonna be a little here. I don't think not everyone needs to be a part of everything. If you have a Kohl's candies line, I don't think it needs to be at New York Fashion Week. That is kind of reserved for like the upper echelon of fashion. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I think maybe she probably got like the week before it actually started.
Well, is this the same fashion week that we had the debut of Kendall Jenner?
What year was that?
Remember Avril Lavigne was dating Brody Jenner, and on the show they had Kendall Jenner walk in the fashion show with Kylie. But like, who cares? Because it was like Kendall's kind of breakout into modeling.
Was it Abby Dawn?
Yeah, it was. It was her fashion line. Yeah, it was Abby Dawn.
I never knew that. I'm genuinely shocked.
It was a whole episode.
Oh my God.
Remember they hired someone for Kendall to do. Kim hired a runway coach for Kendall, and Kendall was not taking it seriously. And Kim was getting pissed because you can say what you want about Kim, you guys. I'm never going to defend her like that. But I will say, and we can all agree, she means business. So when we hire somebody to do a coaching thing for runway, Kendall needed to focus, and she wasn't. And Kim was like, do you want this or not?
Right. Also, because it makes her look dumb.
Yeah, but it does. And Kendall looked dumb. Kendall looked spoiled. But now she's killing it. But Abby Dawn was her intro to fashion.
I had no clue. But if you want to know what I think of Avril Lavigne, I think she's a rock chick. I think she likes to rock out. I think she likes to throw shit around. I think she likes to lose herself on stage. I think she just likes to scream. She likes to holler. She likes to yell. Does anybody know the interview of Avril Lavigne that I'm referencing, please?
Do you know that Bratz just recreated that for their Instagram?
Shut the fuck up.
This week, it just happened. It's like if you do like they're all stills and you scroll through and it's that interview.
Not me being nostalgic, but on trend.
I'm a rock chick.
Yeah, I'm a rock, but I've quoted that for years. And you know that.
That interview is actually crazy.
She's like scratching herself. She's like, what was the question? I don't think I'm punk. It's more punk to say you're not punk. I'm a rock chick.
Honestly, Middle America's watching that and saying, taking notes, putting a tie around my neck, wearing a wife beater.
Oh my God, yeah.
A tank top. I gotta get wife beater out of that's like a terrible, why was it ever called that?
I don't know. Well, we do know now, but like it was just kind of brought into everybody's vernacular. But let's get it out.
Get it out.
We're growing and correcting.
I'm gonna call tank tops Nunu Nanas.
Oh God.
I'm gonna get in trouble for that.
So, what are you listening to?
Cinema by Harry Styles.
The first song that came to my mind was Skrillex.
Oh.
Moving on.
Well, yeah, not that. Cinema by Harry Styles. I think when that album came out, there was just too much Harry Styles in the ether, kind of like when it was like that album, the tour was so long and so in your face. And then he was doing the movie press and all the drama with Olivia Wilde. There was just too much Harry that I was kind of like a little like, whoa, I don't care that much. But I was on a walk this week and I listened to that album, Harry's House. And you know what? Undeniably talented, really creative, great voice. All the songs are very fun and fresh, and they don't feel like anything else right now. And One Direction as a group, collectively, those boys on the show were not that talented. But what they've all developed into men, they're a very talented group.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really impressed by Harry. I love this album. And Cinema is just like a really fun one. You got the cinema. You got the cinema. I bring the pop to the cinema. You pop when we get intimate. So do you know what that means?
No.
You got the cinema. Who's that about?
Who?
Olivia Wilde. Cinema director.
Friend of the pod.
I bring the pop to the cinema. Orgasm.
Oh.
That's what that means.
I didn't think that.
No, I know. Olivia Wilde. Now I'm pivoting crazy. Olivia Wilde, friend of the pod. Actually, Olivia Wilde follows me on Instagram. She likes me a lot.
Tried to come to your show.
She tried to come to my New York City show. She wasn't in town at the time. So when I come to LA, I'm not inviting her because
She's buying a ticket.
I was just thinking it seems so thirsty. I'm like, Olivia, come to my show. She's like, I'm just being sweet. I'm playing it coy.
Okay.
Maybe she listens to the pod. She's like, don't ever talk about my O. And I'm like, sorry, girl.
Anyway, back to the O.
So no, this song is like genuinely just for our UK audience. You know what I mean? Because it's a bit cheeky, isn't it? You know, take the tube down to Essex and get a cup on a sausage roll and go for a stroll. I just wrote that little monologue down. I went, it's a bit cheeky, isn't it?
You're good at an English accent.
You wanted the tube down to the Essex?
The tube.
Well, it's a tube, but I'm saying tube.
Yeah, I got that.
Well, thank you. I think he's mega talented. And I just think it's really fun. And I think Harry is so cool, so hot, and so great. I hate his hair right now, but I think the whole world feels that. I did find something really interesting about this. So there's a really sweet guitar riff in the middle as a bridge. Guess who played the guitar on this song?
Slash. Who?
John Mayer.
Oh.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
He's a really funky kind of guitarist. He's really good at guitar.
Yeah.
So he played it and when you listen to the song, it's very guitar heavy and it's all John Mayer. He also did Daydreaming.
Okay.
Yeah, so those two songs on Harry's House, John Mayer is credited for guitar, and John Mayer had a big thing for Olivia Wilde for a long time.
Really?
It all kind of is just interweb, isn't it?
It is. It's like a one big nasty cesspool.
But I'm into Harry Styles' album. We're going to listen to it on the way. We're driving to Massachusetts after this to go see the script.
Which will be talked about. You already heard it.
Yeah, well, yeah, because we're recording it in two different parts, but they don't care.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of like fun. It's like, oh my
How
God.
was it? Was it good? Was the show good? We don't know yet because we're recording we're recording the end of this episode before the beginning.
Yeah, well, that's just that's showbiz, baby. That's Harry's House, baby. That's cinema, baby.
So we do need to get going. But we love you so much. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you give it a 5-star rating and review anywhere that you can.
Yeah, and just take care of yourself, take care of your new nanas, and just live your life, campers. We'll see you Monday, we'll see you Wednesday, we'll see you forever. And with that being said, lights out, campers.